So you have a job and you watch my videos, and I'm always talking about starting a business or some way of making money, but you already have a job and you're fine with that job. There is one problem though. Jobs are no longer secure. In fact, there have been times when not only did people lose their jobs, but the entire industry or field that they were in went under and they would no longer be able to do the same job. And yes, they can go and find another job and do something else to make money, but it's really bad when you went to college, for instance, and got a degree, and then you worked for 10 years only to find out that your job or your field is no longer needed. So this video is about why you should start a business, which in my opinion is much more secure than having a traditional job and working for someone else. And also I'm going to be talking about jobs, an entire list of jobs, maybe 6 or 7, that were once here but they're no longer around. If you know any of these jobs that were once very good but are no longer around, comment below and let me know what they are. Also, if you're new to the channel or you're watching one of my videos for the very first time, my name is Ian and I post videos here on YouTube every single day on topics relating to making money and personal finance. So if you'd like to see more of these videos, give this video a thumbs up. I'll really appreciate it. And also consider subscribing to this channel, and that way you'll be able to get the updates every day when I post a new video here. Now, the first job that no longer exists is a video store clerk, or anybody that used to work in video stores. Before, you would have to go to the video store to rent a movie or buy one or some other show that you liked, and this was the norm, and nobody thought that this was going to go away. I never thought that it was going to go away either. Then came the era of mailing content. You could rent movies online and then have them delivered to your door, but we still had video stores. Then Netflix and other streaming services came around, and that was the end of these video stores. They're no longer needed anymore. Now, if you had a job here maybe 15 years ago or maybe 20 years ago, you may have thought that you had a really secure job because people need entertainment, but that just wasn't the case. The same applies to a movie theater. I really think that they won't be around for much longer because people don't really go to the movies as often as they would, let's say, 10 years ago. Instead, you can pay for a subscription service and have popcorn in your living room. And I think that maybe in the next decade, there won't be a lot of demand for movie theaters. And so there will be closing, or they will be closing, and they may have to start offering movies in a different format. Now, another job that is no longer around is the human alarm clock. And yes, this was actually a real thing because many decades ago, there weren't any alarm clocks, or at least alarm clocks were very expensive. And the average person like you and me wouldn't be able to have a personal alarm clock at home. So instead, they had a human who would go around and use a pole to tap on your windows to wake you up so you wouldn't be late for work. Now, I know this sounds really odd, but back then this was the norm. I'm sure back then people never knew that one day the alarm guy would no longer be needed because they would have a cell phone or a smartphone with an alarm built in, or they could buy one and it wouldn't cost them that much. Another job that maybe you can relate to is the bowling alley pin setter. Back in the day when you went to a bowling alley, you would need someone to reset the pins manually. There was no automated bowling alley where a machine picked them up for you and then lined them up perfectly for you to bowl over and over. So humans would do it, and this was a good job because, again, people needed entertainment, right? That job no longer exists. Another job that no longer exists is the lamp lighter. Before we had street lights, or street lights as we all know, that are run by electricity from a grid that's hundreds if not thousands of miles away, lamp lighters would go around and light lamps on the streets. So there were still street lights, but they weren't electric and they wouldn't be on at nights unless someone put a flame inside them. So again, this was a legitimate job that employed a lot of people, but this job also no longer exists. Now, finally, the rat catcher is another job that doesn't exist today. There are still rats, but you can prevent them from ever entering your home now, and you can do this with products from the store. However, back then, rats were a problem, and I'm sure they still are a problem, but there were no products to get rid of them. So instead, the city would hire professional rat catchers who would literally go out and hunt rats to try to keep the rat population down. But again, that job is no longer needed. There's also one job that I think will be going away in the next decade or within this current decade, and this is the cashier. Now, where I am, there aren't much of these people left. You walk into a store and you grab whatever you want, and then you walk up to the kiosk and you can scan the items and pay with cash or a credit card, and there is no human interaction. You may walk into a store with 20 checkout stations and only 2 have cashiers, so this is eventually going to happen, and this job will also be a thing of the past. Now, the purpose of talking about all these jobs from 100 years ago wasn't to give you guys a history lesson. The main point here is that 100 or 200 years ago, all these jobs were very important, just as how you may have a job today that is very important. There is a restaurant in Boston right now, and I'll leave a link below to this so you can see it for yourself, but this restaurant is the first restaurant to have a fully robotic kitchen. This means that you don't get a chef preparing your food. A robot is doing it instead. When this trend takes over, then the next job that may be going away is fast food jobs at restaurants. If a robot can prepare food, accept payments, and deliver it out the drive-through window, then humans can and will be replaced. That's just one example. Another is UPS, which recently, and I think this was under a year ago, started to use self-driving trucks. This means that UPS packages no longer need to be hauled by actual people driving trucks. The trucks drive themselves. Again, this isn't widespread as yet, but if one company is already doing it, you can look out for others to follow in the coming decade. So again, this is just another example of a job that's around right now that may be going away in just a few years from now. So if you have a job that you think is going to be going away in a couple of years, then you want to find another job, or at least have a plan to, if it does happen while you're still employed and out there working, so you can find another job. However, my recommendation would be to start a business, and instead of starting a traditional business, since most of these businesses will be going out of business as well, I would tell everyone to find some online business to get into. Even if it's just like a hobby that makes you a couple $100s, because this way you actually start to get more comfortable with running an online business while it's still very affordable or free for you to learn how to do it. If you ever need the skills in the future, then you'll have them. So the main point of this video is that jobs aren't all that secure. They all have an expiry date, and maybe you have a job now and it will be around for 100 more years or even more, but just like the video store clerks, they never got any warning from 10 years before that they may be out of a job. It just happened very, very quickly. So this is why I think that everybody should start their own business, and there are so many different businesses that you can get into, so it will be okay for everyone to have their own business. Now, it's much safer when compared to having a job, and even if the job won't be going away, you could get fired. You no longer need to be a bad worker or employee to get fired. People get fired for so many different reasons, and I just think it's very risky to depend on a job for income when that income could be taken away from you at any time, and there's not much that you can really do to prevent it. Also, I want to mention that online businesses can and will easily make you more money than your 9-to-5. You can work a 9-to-5 and get $3,000 to $10,000 per month, which is great, but you can have an online business that generates up to $100,000 or even more per month, and you are responsible for your success and not your boss. Now, comment below and let me know what you think about some of these jobs. Do you think they will be going away in the near future, or are there any other jobs that you think will be going away very, very soon? If you want to talk to me one-on-one, you can find me on Instagram, and I'll be leaving that link in the description below. I hope you guys found this video very helpful, and if you'd like to see more of these videos, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, as that's how these videos get recommended to more people and can potentially help someone else as well, and I'll also really appreciate it. Also, don't forget to check out some of my other videos here on this channel on credit cards, banking apps, savings accounts, investments, personal finance, ways to make money, and much more. Also, if you haven't already subscribed, be sure to do so, and be sure to turn on all notifications for this channel, as that's the only way you'll be able to get the updates of when I post new videos. And remember guys, I'll be posting a new video here every single day on YouTube. I'll also be leaving a couple links down below to free stuff and free cashback offers, so be sure to check all the links down below in the description for all kinds of free stuff. Once again, I hope this video was very helpful. All the best with jobs or with your jobs, and I hope you start a business soon, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.